The latest season of Squid Game begins with Seong Gi-hun leaving the airport. Just as he did so, he received a call from a mysterious individual, informing him that he should have gotten on the flight and leave. But now he has just made the biggest mistake of his life. Seong Gi-hun ignored all this and took a cab to Seoul. He got to a store and immediately got a letter blade. He went into the restroom where he figured out that he had a tracking device on him. The scene then shifted to Jun-ho, now in the hospital in a critical condition. However, just as his mom cries, he then gained consciousness. Now fast forward to 2 years later, Jun-ho is now a roadside policeman who gave some teenagers a ticket for driving their motorcycle without helmet. Although the young lady seems to be a fan of Jun-ho's handsomeness. Later on, Jun-ho and his boss went into a restaurant to have some decent amount of meal. Jun-ho's boss is very mad at Jun-ho for going rogue on a mission without a permission or assistance from his superior. He informed Jun-ho how lucky he really was on surviving that fatal gunshot injury. Jun-ho reminded him that this was one of the reasons he now works as a traffic officer. Although his superior informed him that they are yet to find that mysterious island where they play dangerous games to kill individuals. Meanwhile, back to Seong Gi-hun, a couple are downstairs trying to find a place to sleep for the night, which Gi-hun could see them through his hidden camera, but nobody attended or opened the door to them, so they leave. Just then, Gi-hun continued to hear a buzzing sound, which when he checked through the camera, nobody could be found. He immediately took his gun and head straight to his door. Just then, he got an invite to join the game, while also showing him the heads of the couple from earlier. Gi-hun shot at the mysterious man immediately before waking up. That same morning, Gi-hun got a visitor. Seems like he has hired some men to find the location of those involved in the deadly game. His investigator informed him that he has been searching for 2 years now, and still yet no sign of them. Gi-hun is certain that since this is a new year, they will definitely start to recruit more individuals for the game. His investigator then promised to find them no matter what. Once the investigator leaves, he met with his fellow goons and informed them of the assignment, but they don't even believe whatever Gi-hun had been saying so far, but they just kept on searching due to the money he has been paying. Jun-ho, meet with an old friend on a boat drive in order to find that mystery island to find and capture those who are responsible for the game. Back to the investigators, he briefed his guys in who they are looking for, and with a few information given to him and very small lead, he ordered his men to find and search every station at the city to find this mysterious man. However, any individual who find this mystery man get rewarded with 500 million won. They all began search at every station while Gi-hun also continued his search for that mystery island as days goes by. Days continued to pass by with no results, but they kept on with the work to find this mysterious island and mystery man. One evening, 2 of the investigators were busy having their meal, while discussing how unreal the story of a mystery man recruiting different individuals to play a deadly game was. But his partner informed him that he believes the story, as a man won't spend millions of money just to find a myth. Immediately, they found the salesman playing the game, trying to recruit a member. They immediately called Gi-hun to inform him. Gi-hun immediately began to drive to their location. Just as he leaves, the 2 investigators began to follow him. Meanwhile, the salesman is having a pleasant day, going into stores and buying things, unknowingly that he has been followed by the investigators. The salesman then went straight to meet a homeless man. He then gave him an option to choose between food and a ticket. The beggar then chose the ticket, but unfortunately for him, he loses. He went on to meet the other homeless individuals, and yet again they all kept on failing. Once he was done, he dropped all the food on the floor and began stepping on them aggressively. Back to Gi-hun, just as he drove to his destination to meet face-to-face with the salesman, he got pulled over by the cop due to his speed limit. The investigators began to chase after the salesman just as he took a cab. Jun-ho's traffic partner informed Jun-ho about the way Gi-hun behaved and how he has multiple phones on him. He then proceeded to show Jun-ho the man details, and just then, Jun-ho realized it was Seong Gi-hun. Meanwhile, the investigators finished catching up with the salesman. One of them decided to go after him since the odds are in their favor as it is just 2 against 1. They did in accordance with their plans, but unfortunately, he got beaten and knocked out by the salesman. At the station, Jun-ho continues to make his own research on Seong Gi-hun to be sure he was the one his junior officer had met earlier. Gi-hun arrived at the investigator's location only to find bloodstain. He searched further and found a dagger unknowingly. The salesman was observing him from above. The investigators are now tied up together. The salesman approached them and introduced that they play rock, paper, scissors, and whoever loses play a Russian roulette. They began to play, and this was a long game play. Unfortunately, the salesman added 5 bullets into the gun, and yet again, one of them loses, making the salesman shoot him at the head. Soon after, he congratulated the winner, while informing him that they need a long chat. Jun-ho, now at the location of investigators department, then proceeded to sneak into the building. However, just then a man walked in to grab some weapons. He noticed that the windows are opened, and just as he tried checking, he got a call and leaves. Jun-ho continued to search deep. Seong Gi-hun also got to his apartment and soon noticed something was wrong. He proceeded to enter and boom, the salesman was there waiting for him. The salesman reminded Gi-hun that he should have gotten on that flight, leaving all this behind, and he as the salesman is simply just a delivery man. He began to narrate his story on how he got into the game. He stated that he was from a poor background and one evening he was given a gun to join the game, but firstly, he will have to kill an individual who had lost a game. He did so, but just then he realized it was his father who had given him that particular gun to kill, and immediately he shot his dad, killing him. He proceeded to introduce a game to Gi-hun, which he insisted that they both played. This game was a Russian roulette. The game began, and Seong Gi-hun was the first. He did so, and nothing happened. They continued to play while Jun-ho got to their location. The game now was intense as ever. Seong Gi-hun played and began to wait for the salesman, but unfortunately once the salesman played, he shot himself dead. Jun-ho, while waiting outside, heard a loud gun sound and immediately ran straight into the building. While Seong Gi-hun searched the salesman's pocket for a key, Jun-ho found Woo-suk, the investigator. Woo-suk informed Jun-ho on the whereabouts of Seong Gi-hun. Jun-ho then rushed immediately into the room and found Seong Gi-hun close to the salesman's lifeless body. Jun-ho quickly arrested Seong Gi-hun, but just as he handcuffed him, Woo-suk arrived and knocked him out. The scene then shifted to a young lady sleeping in a van, but later, a cop asked her to leave the area, but she informed him that she doesn't have a place to sleep. Back to Jun-ho, he gained consciousness and Seong Gi-hun informed him that he recognized him from the SQUID Game. Jun-ho then asked who the dead man was, so Seong Gi-hun told him that he is responsible for recruiting different individuals to the game. Jun-ho is of the opinion that Seong Gi-hun and him work together, but the investigator, Woo-suk, doesn't like this idea, as the cops are always on their neck harassing them. Although Seong Gi-hun agreed to work with Jun-ho, Seong Gi-hun then took them to a safe house where he proceeded to show them the money he had won from the game, even his weapon collection. He requested that they gather different individuals to work with them. We get to a ceremony event at an amusement park where a bunny gave a gift to a little kid. As soon as they were done, the bunny headed to their dressing room, and we discovered that it was the homeless lady from earlier in it. Unfortunately, the young kid from earlier came into the room and approached her, presenting a gift to her. She then asked if she was okay, but just then one of the workers came into the room without the bunny mask on, and she realized they are not real and began to cry. The lady from earlier named Kong No-yul seems to be looking for her kid, but the investigator she hired informed her that she is already dead, but she doesn't want to believe. She went straight into her vehicle and drank herself to stupor, but just as she did so, a man knocked and gave her a card of invitation. The scene cut back to Jun-ho going to drop off flowers at his brother's funeral. He went back home to have dinner with his mother. They both discussed about how selfless Jun-ho brother was, even giving Jun-ho his kidney. Back to the park, the kid from earlier found that same bunny, but this time, it didn't give her a candy. Kong No-yul, now at her boss office, then quit her job from working as a bunny. Just as she leaves, that young kind from earlier named Na-yun is rushed to the hospital, as she was found unconscious. Kong No-yul sees this as they drove her to the hospital while she left her hat. Meanwhile, Seong Gi-hun called a dentist to fix a tracking device on his tooth. Na-yun, now at the hospital, her father get informed about her cancer development. He begged the doctor to help her, promising to find the money for her. Kong No-yul then visit Na-yun before leaving her hat. Woo-suk have now recruited different machineries for the mission ahead, while Seong Gi-hun briefed them on what to expect. Later on, Seong Gi-hun called his daughter, but as he listened to her voice, he couldn't say a single word. At night, Kong No-yul called a number in her card, and she is given a date and time for the pickup. Jun-ho and his guys continue to track as they all went into a club. Moment later, the masked guys arrive at the same club, and immediately Jun-ho chases after them. At the club, one of them attack one of Seong Gi-hun's men. Seong Gi-hun is approached by one of them, and he is brought outside and taken into a white vehicle. Jun-ho noticed this and plans to go after the vehicle. Inside the vehicle, the boss tried convincing Seong Gi-hun to drop all his plans and move on, but Seong Gi-hun in return asked him to stop all this meaningless game too. But he informed Seong Gi-hun that if the world doesn't change, the game itself won't work. Jun-ho continued to follow the vehicle. By just then, a sniper shot their vehicle wheels, making them lose track. Seong Gi-hun noticed this and immediately asked them to stop the vehicle, but they wouldn't, so he requested that he play the game again. After a few resistance from the boss, they later accepted and immediately knocked Seong Gi-hun unconscious, unknowingly that Jun-ho has a tracking device on him. Kong No-yul got to her location where she met others in their cell. Soon after, they drove them to their destination. The episode then came to an end. Other episodes will be uploaded soon. Kindly subscribe to get updated as soon as possible. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.